So I have to say, I was killing myself because I'm Portuguese, and there's that line of, I'm going to send you back to India, and then it says, but I'm Portuguese. I was dying.
Scarlett is so racist. And it's so funny because we do a lot of improv on set. So just like the things that come out of our mouths and just like, and we have a very eclectic kind of like cast and crew actually, and people are always from different places. And so they're giving me ideas for things to say. And I'm like, yeah, but they still have to come out of my mouth. Like, people remember that I say this. So actually, Luis and I were joking yesterday that we need to be like, find some way to throw in a line of like, well, I'm equally racist to everyone, you know?
Right. Yes, that's right.
I think she's across the board, like, horrible.
And then you're like, I'll send you back to Cambodia where you're from.
I know. You can't really tell if she's just being mean or if, like, really she doesn't know.
My first job was cleaning offices, so it was very fitting.
And if you listen really closely, I don't know if you'll go back, but when they're making out, she makes this, like, animal, like, a noise. I'm a big Netflixer. I can't wait for Game of Thrones to come back.
Ah, nice. I was going to say, what do you watch when you're watching TV?
I just finished House of Cards. Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. My friends were so mad at me. They're like, it's so boring. And I was like, I could not. The opposite. Like, it is so intense and powerful and awesome. I did think the ending was so cheesy, though.
So wait, the first 2 seasons you're talking about?
Uh-huh.
It's 3. It's on 3. Okay, I'm almost
He only started first, so.
She gave it away. No, not at all.
I didn't give anything away. I'm big about that. I just said it wasn't my favorite.
Well, here's the crazy part. While I'm watching that, because we have so much resource now, like, I pulled up the Wikipedia on House of Cards.
Aren't you afraid to read anything?
And I killed
Why
it
would
for
you do
myself.
that? Why would you just watch it?
I pulled up the IMDb. I pulled up Wikipedia. I wanted to see, okay, well, I know this person from this and that, and so. But isn't Robin Wright tremendous in it?
Oh my gosh, she's phenomenal. And then,
So she dies at the end of second season.
Yeah, thanks.
I am not giving anything away. I thought you were like House of Cards. I was like, yes. Wait, I'm going to give things away. No, Robin Wright is phenomenal, and yeah, I wish I totally binge watch series, so I'm scared to drop any details because I'm like, what if I get it confused and that was in season 2? I don't want to give anything away from you, but yeah, she's phenomenal. She was in some movie that I just saw like 10 minutes of yesterday. My friend was watching it, and I was like, I have to see this. Like, she's got such a presence on film. Mm-hmm. But the movie is with her and Naomi Watts. What is that movie? Oh. It's kind of random. Cole was watching it.
We'll find it.
Naomi Watts and Robin Wright. Where, like, apparently they both have sons, and then they both, like, the women date each other's sons.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's
what
like
is that?
It's a rom-com, isn't it?
What is it? Naomi Watts and...
Naomi Watts and Robin Wright, yeah. I only saw a little bit of it, but, like, just immediately I, like, passed by, and I was like, what is this? Because I saw her face on the screen.
Is it called A Door?
Which one was it?
A Door?
Yeah, uh-huh.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, because it's starring Robin White and Naomi Watts.
Yeah, they're like a teenage or older, like, you know, sons in their early 20s, and then they do the swap kind of thing.
Weird.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh man, but she's got this like it's intense, and that's why it works so well in House of Cards, because she is just like, she is a powerful bee.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot believe how manipulative they are. But I just heard the other day, I was listening to NPR, and I heard that like 2 of the California congressmen are getting asked to resign because one of them is like involved in illegal foreign trade, and one of them is involved in gun trafficking. And I was like, is this like House of Cards for real? Like, is it really this scandalous? So it makes me kind of wonder, like, how close they're like they're hitting
the true story.
It's all true.
I know.
It's all true, Ginger. There's so much in the background. That's what we preach here.
I know, everything's a controversy.
A conspiracy theory. That's what we started here.
But it's easy to watch great acting.
Yeah, very much
right?
so.
Anything else you follow?
I was going to say, though, that I got spoiled by Breaking Bad because of Facebook.
Thank you.
And I was so mad.
I couldn't talk to anybody for months about that show because they would start talking about stuff, and I'd have to walk away.
I know. Well, that's what I did to everyone in real life. And when I would hear it, I was like, ah, la, 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 like, get out of here, you know? And then I hop on Facebook, and my friend wrote what happens at the end of it. I won't give it away if anybody listening. But I was so mad because I dodged those bullets left and right. I wanted to see it for myself. And then there it was. And it didn't even say anything about Breaking Bad. It just gave away the end. And I knew what they were talking about, though. And I was like,
There's a video on YouTube that compares all of the cast that was on Seinfeld with the Breaking Bad cast.
I have to see this immediately.
Yeah, and so I started watching it, and there was a scene that I hadn't seen yet, so I had to shut off the video and wait till I was done the whole thing to go back and see all the characters.
Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, I have to find that because I just finished that, too. That was, like, before House of Cards. It's so funny that I write slapstick comedy because almost everything that I watch is kind of drama-y.
Sure.
I like that. Louise got me hooked on Revenge, which is like such a soap opera show, but juicy.
I haven't heard it, no.
Okay.
Did you do? It's like it's real cheesy, guys. I'm kind of admitting something embarrassing here.
Guilty pleasure.
Totally. It's like the next thing I'll tell you that I like Third Eye Blind. I do.
You know what? I've seen them live, and they did a kick-ass show live. So
such a guilty pleasure.
It is my guilty pleasure too.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I like that one. And then what's the other like drama-y show that we were into for a little bit? I'm not sure. I like the Netflix series though. I definitely try to keep up with all those. Did you guys do like Arrested Development?
I never did. Did you? Did you ever get into Arrested Development?
That was just before Cranston moved on, right? Wasn't he in Arrested? Or was it Dexter? What's his name? Who's the actor that Michael Paul was the...
Yeah, Jason Bateman.
Oh, Jason Bateman, that's right.
Yes.
Comedy, yeah.
That, and then Michael Cera is who you're thinking of, I think. He plays like the son.
That's right.
Yeah, and then like the mother and that. I mean, there's so many good characters. It's nuts, and I used to be like way into like Strangers with Candy. It's a very kind of like niche like comedy show, and then like Absolutely Fabulous and things like that. So I do get into like the absurd slapsticky comedy. I like physical comedy, and it's kind of been something that I think has kind of been on the outs for the last couple years. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that Beverly Hills is kind of getting a warm welcome because it's very theatrical.
For sure, for sure. Well, we were talking about this not too long ago. I mean, you're seeing a lot of big names going from movies to television series, yeah, because the writing is so strong now.
It's so good, and I for one, like I feel for characters. I love film as a filmmaker because it's so awesome when you have a story that is supposed to be an hour and a half. But I feel like, especially with comedy, they used to make it into film just because film was a greater art form. Now television is so strong that there's so many good comedies, and like if you have such a strong character, why let it die?
Exactly.
You know, do one movie or two movies when you can do 6 seasons of these awesome characters.
Absolutely, and then you don't. And I think the big shift was they didn't have to end each episode with actual ending. It could continue to the next episode after episode all the way through a whole season.
Right.
And now I feel like I'm watching movies every time I watch a full episode. I'm like, I can't believe that was just a show.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that's how I feel every time I watch Game of Thrones. I can't tell you how excited I am for next Sunday. I'm tickled.
which is
but TV has amazing budgets now, amazing writers, and it's kind of it's funny because it's kind of like a taboo thing in Hollywood how a lot of like up and coming actors hate that like the big stars keep on just like infiltrating television because it's like, where do you start? You know? But I think it's awesome. It makes for awesome TV when I get to, turn on Community and see Chevy Chase or turn on this and see my favorite, favorite evil woman or everything like that. So it makes for fun watching, that's for sure. Yeah. But you touched on something that I love. I think that it's kind of like a society shift that we don't expect episodes to be like tied up into a bow anymore.
Right.
That there can be this like kind of, long saga that used to only be kind of daytime television-y.
Yeah, like Full House used to always end with a lesson at the end of the episode.
Exactly. Yeah. And even Friends and Seinfeld, it's like standalone kind of like sometimes they had through lines, but you could just pick up an episode randomly and it didn't matter if it's season 7 or season 2.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think it's kind of a shift in like the viewers, like society standpoint, that they want to like be invested in these characters. I want to know what Walter White and Jesse Pinkman are doing every week. I think about it while I'm driving. So,
and the way they would end on a cliffhanger, they would end on a scene where it's like, "Are you kidding me? The show's over. I want to watch that."
Mm-hmm. That would have driven me. No, I'm glad. I'm actually really glad the way that they summed it up. I loved it.
We appreciate, too, the fact that, TV as a medium really, when DVR, PVR was all introduced and internet streaming and so on, Netflix, you can access it when you want. You're not tied to Monday night at 7, 8 o'clock prime time.
Isn't that like, it's so weird. I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm like about to hit 30, and I love that I'm from this like generation that I remember what it's like for like leave a message on somebody's answering machine. They're not home, you can't get a hold of them, or like beepers. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like if I have kids, they're not going to wrap their brain around those things. It's like very interesting switch in like a slower paced lifestyle to like we're almost on hyperdrive now. It seems especially with. Every time I look at my phone, it's, it's awesome, but it's like 10 new things on Twitter and Facebook and this and that and emails and, everything's just blowing up. But it's like changed. I think that's kind of what's going to definitely mark this generation, though, is that, like, we're getting to create whole new languages with text message and hashtags and crazy things like that. And then we're the first, like, the pioneers of doing podcasts and Skype interviews and web series and things like that. It's cool. It's a cool time to kind of experience all that boom. And TiVo, one of my favorite things of ever, and Netflix, like you were saying, the programming where you don't have to be home on Tuesday at 9 to see your favorite show, or like, I missed it, tell me about it. That doesn't happen anymore.
Advertisers must be wondering how the hell they're going to get in front of the audience now. Fast forward commercials.
They have plenty of banners on the side. I mean, Hulu's got commercials now.
Well, and that's why they say you're seeing more of their product placement in the actual shows now. And that's why we love Netflix, because you can watch an entire season without being, dragged through the whole year, wondering week to week what's going on.
Yeah, that's true. However, I will say, I am like, it's so fun though sometimes to like go through a series with people. Like take Breaking Bad for instance. Every week after it ended, people are like blowing up Twitter and Facebook to like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. And like if you're in that whole world, or with Game of Thrones or any show that you're into, it's like it's fun to get all that feedback and also to be at the same level. Like, I would try to make jokes about House of Cards, and I'm like, I love Cashew. He's my favorite. Guinea pig. Oh, I think that's season 2.
She did that on purpose.
That's a freebie, but not a bad one.
Yeah.
But, things like that, and, like, people are at all different levels, though. They hadn't seen that episode or something. If we were watching it together every Tuesday or every Sunday, then it's like, the whole community gets to get excited. And I would think for somebody who's on the show, or especially writing, creating, producing, directing the show, that would be really awesome to get to see, like, the community feedback of when you release it to people, they're seeing this at the same time.
Did you watch Breaking Bad while it was happening? Because in season 5, there was a 10-month or 8-month delay after episode 8.
Oh, yeah, because they broke it up into 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a delay because I did watch it later, but I know that on Netflix, they, like, cut it off halfway through.
The delay.
And I was like, well, and it's like right when,
Yeah. So can you imagine having to wait all that time to see what
things out?
I couldn't imagine.
That'd be awful. And that happens, all too often. TV is a ridiculous, it's a really hard medium to execute. and on a timely manner. And like, it's impressive what people do in a week. Like I said, with Fear News, I mean, we were practically living on top of each other for the whole week while we're shooting. Or especially like the editor guys and like the directors and writers and stuff like that. So, you know, I'd have to apologize to them on Wednesday. I'm like, you're going to look at my face for 48 hours. You're going to be editing me. Like, I'm so sorry. And it's true. They just like save and get it done. But I can't imagine like being, you know, churning a weekly episode if you're a 30-minute television or even an hour television in the time frame that they do. I mean, it's got to be a well-oiled machine. That's a lot of work.
Jesse Pinkman's character was supposed to be killed off after the first season. So Bryan Cranston kept busting his chops like, oh, have you read the next week's episode? Oh, no, right? So Aaron Paul used to like run and get the script thinking he was going to get killed off that episode.
Like every time he's like, oh, and oh yes. My roommate actually used to be friends with him and said that he's like the nicest guy.